Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video because this is one that I've been trying to make a video about for a long time. I did a poll in my Instagram stories asking y'all what you wanted to know more about when it came to lead generation, and you guys did not disappoint. There were so many incredible questions asked during that time that instead of me doing a really quick little IGTV video, which is what I originally was going to do, I decided to make a full-on YouTube video so that I can break down what it takes to actually have consistent lead generation. And no, it does not require you having to DM 50 people daily because, you know, that's just not feasible. So before we get into it, I wanted to quickly thank you guys so much for all of you who shared, liked, commented on my How to Be an Ally as a Business Owner video. That video blew up so much bigger than I expected, and honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you guys for sharing it. I'm so happy so many of you guys have been implementing and sharing and encouraging other people to watch it and the actions that are talked about in that video. So thank you for that. I hope this video is just as helpful. We're going to be talking about the 3 different pillars that you need for any type of consistent lead generation, no matter what platform, no matter what type of business that you own. If that is something that you're interested in, please make sure to leave a like for me and put that notification bell on so that you can know when the next videos come out that you're going to be talking about how to help you get consistency in your business without you having to work 24/7 inside your business. With that, let's get into it. So the first pillar is long-term searchable content platforms. One of the phrases that kept coming up whenever I asked about lead generation was about, well, Elizabeth, I know that lead generation is important, but I just can't figure out how to find where my leads hang out. Like, I don't know where my leads hang out. And I just don't think that that is as important as you've been led to believe that it is. And I'll put my hand up first in saying that I used to say this all the time when I was a novice business owner, that you need to figure out where your leads hang out and then make sure that your content is there and that you're engaging them there. But if you're an online business, this isn't necessarily a problem for us. I can see how if you were a brick and mortar business, this would be huge for you because it's not like you can physically move your store location and then move it where your people hang out. Like, that's just not possible. So you have to have promotions and marketing materials that are where your people hang out. You put them in the personal trainer store. That's not a thing. You put them in gyms. You put them in the grocery store. You know, you put them at your local reading club spot. You know, you place your business in highly visible places to make sure that people know to come to your store. It's a little bit different for us in the online business space though, because we already are where our leads are. Our leads are on Facebook, our leads are on Instagram, our leads are on YouTube, our leads are on Pinterest, our leads are on TikTok. I could go on. And our businesses are there too. So your problem isn't to find where your leads hang out. I assure you, you're already there. You're there, boo. But you need to figure out how to make yourself stand out and be visible, highly visible, so that your leads know that you exist. That's the actual problem that you have, which is where this first pillar comes into play. One of the biggest struggles and frustrations that I personally have seen, not only as a business coach for my clients, but also personally in my own business, is trying to grow a community on social-based platforms. Now, that seems to make sense, right? Like, of course, you build a community on platforms where community is encouraged, like Instagram. It's about being able to connect and share with other people. Facebook, it's about connecting and sharing with other people. The issue is, though, is that if you're a business, it is very difficult for you to be able to grow on these platforms organically without having some type of outside platform driving traffic to your accounts. Not saying that it's not impossible with the many changes to the Instagram algorithm making it that much harder to grow and really be seen on Instagram. It just seems so frustrating to have to worry consistently about getting more people to your Instagram account and being more worried about follower count than actually servicing people in your business. So how do we combat this? We combat this by making sure that your content isn't being sucked in the sinkhole of social platforms. What does that mean? It means that social platforms like Facebook and Instagram in particular are sinkholes for content because it's content that's really, really good that has a very, very short time span or lifespan on the timeline. And unless you have people following you and are constantly looking at all your pieces of content, that content kind of just is never seen forever. I can tell you that I have months, if not years, of really good content on my Instagram account that nobody sees because it's buried from over a year ago. And who's actually going to be looking down over a year ago and actually reading that content unless they're hyper engaged? No new leads, I will tell you that. So how do we get out of this sinkhole? We do it by making sure our content is not in these share-based platforms alone, but are instead on search optimized platforms. What does that mean? It means that instead of being on platforms where people are wanting to engage and wanting to share with you, they're looking to be entertained, you're actually putting your content on search engine optimized platforms where people are actually going and searching for different things. Let's say you're a personal trainer, so they're searching for trainers, they're searching for fitness techniques, they're searching for ways to work out better, to lose weight, and then they find your content that way. Not only is that going to increase the lifespan of your content, it's also going to give you more qualified leads because they searched for you. It's not like they randomly found you because of a pretty picture and are like, oh, that looks cool, and then see all of this business content. They were searching for the content that you had and they found you. So now they are a more qualified lead than just a random follower who happens to find you on Instagram. Are you following me? So when you have these content channels that are highly searchable and allow your content to be seen consistently by new people and have a lifetime value where it doesn't matter when you posted it, as long as people are searching for it, they're gonna find it, that opens a whole new door for you. All of a sudden, it doesn't matter that you're in the right places where your people hang out. All of a sudden, it's just making sure that your content is in a place where it can be searched. That's the name of the game there. So if your content currently isn't on a platform that can be searched, it's not a search engine, then we got a problem. And that's probably the reason why lead generation has been so difficult for you. So that's the first platform. The first pillar is making sure that your content is on highly searchable, long-term content channels. So that's Pinterest, that's YouTube, that's Google. I'm sure there's a plethora of other ones, but those are the three that I know about. And it's making sure that content is on there so that you're consistently getting people who are finding your videos, finding you helpful, and are qualified leads now, and then moving them into your social platforms like Instagram and Facebook. That brings us to our second pillar, which is having valuable, sendable content. Now I know everybody under the sun, I feel like, has talked about making sure you have valuable content, make sure your content is valuable, make sure you're giving value to your clients. But what does that actually mean? Because yes, you can be providing a whole bunch of value in your content, but if it is not properly sent at the right time to the right leads, that content is kind of moot. So you want to make sure that you have key pieces of content that are highly authoritative, so it's really showing off your authority, ones that show off your personality. So if you have any videos or like really funny but valuable and educational content, ones that tell stories, ones that really encompass the essence, like the best of the best of your content and what you do as a business owner. A great example of this is that if you go onto my Instagram, which I'm going to show here, and you go to my Start Here highlight, something that I highly recommend, by the way, you can click on it and you hear everything there is to know about who I am, what my values are, what my beliefs are, some fun facts about me, but also some very highly valuable content that has already been validated by my audience because they did well in the timeline. And then I share them in that highlight so that people can know that if they want to know more about lead generation, if they want to know more about audience insights, if they want to know more about building systems, if they want to know more about whatever, there is content that they can go to that they can learn more about. It's a constant content repurposing system that allows me to cut down on how much time I'm spending on having to try and nurture my audience. And instead, I'm using content that I already know works and sending that out so that it's nurturing them without me having to be specifically involved. Now keep in mind, that's what works for me. I have another client that likes to be very involved in the nurturing of her leads. So we have a different system set up for her to where she's able to do a welcome video, and then she's able to connect and talk with her audience and ask them questions so that she can start those conversations as opposed to just sending them the information up front. But it depends on what type of business that you want to run. So that's my second pillar, is making sure that you have valuable, sendable content that you can provide upfront or later on, depending on your business model, so that you're able to very quickly nurture and endear your new leads to you and start warming them up for the third pillar. Our third pillar is probably low-key one of the most important ones, which is making sure you have a clear sales experience. I use this example a lot with my clients, which is, if you were in a grocery store, which of these two lines would you get in? Would you get in the one that has a long line, the clerk is taking his sweet old time, talking to every single person, like having full-on conversations, and is just not being efficient with their time, and it's taking twice the amount of time of a normal clerk to get through the line? Or would you go to the clerk that has a shorter line, is friendly and is conversational, but also is getting the job done so that you can get out and go, so that you can get back home and start cooking dinner or whatever the hell you gotta do. Start watching the season 5 of Queer Eye. Whatever it is, I don't judge. But which one would you go for? I don't know about you, but I'm gonna go for the line that is efficient and quick and is very easily getting me closer to my goal. Getting the hell out with my groceries. You gotta do the same thing with your sales experience. Once people land on your main sale and promotional page, so it might be Instagram, it might be Facebook, it might be email, who knows? You need to make sure you have a very clear pathway of how people can go from just discovering you to nurturing you to how they can purchase from you. And that is a huge thing. Like, one of the most common problems that I see when people ask me why people aren't buying is that when I go onto your Instagram accounts or I go and look at your emails, it's so discombobulated and it's so all over the place. I really can't tell how I can purchase from you. I really can't tell what it is that you can really help me with. So when we make that crystal clear and we make it so stupid obvious, like, hey, if you're here and you have this problem, here's how I can help you. If you want that help, go here. You lay it out step by step. You're gonna have a lot more leads converting and wanting to converse and talk with you or purchase from you if you have more digital downloads or one-off courses, etc. and so forth. Now, for me and my clients, I go about building out these steps in a plethora of different ways because, as you can imagine, there are different business models and all of my clients have different needs. Some people might have multiple offerings, some people might just have one signature offering that they want to push towards, some people have service-based businesses, other people have more digital download, course-based businesses. It depends on the type of business you have and also the different types of platforms that you feel comfortable selling on. But for you and for those who are watching this video, a very common strategy that I like to use is just the Candyland method. So essentially being able to create steps like you would in Candyland or any board game, pick whatever board game from your childhood here, that very clearly shows you how to get to the goal, being able to solve their problem and purchase from you. So if you can reverse engineer, just think about your current sales experience and how people discover you. You just think about that and reverse engineer how they find you, how they can be nurtured by you, and then how they can purchase something from you. If you cannot very clearly think of the steps, that's something that you might want to look into refining. So being able to lay it out almost like a board game is the easiest clear-cut way for you to be able to make it stupid obvious for your audience. Speaking of, let me know in the comments below what your favorite board game was growing up, because I mentioned Candyland and I feel like nobody knows what that is. I get blank stares when I talk about it. So let me know what your favorite board game was in the comments below. When I did case studies looking at bigger gurus and influencers and business owners who are currently killing it in the business game, these were the 3 pillars that really stood out to me. Everybody had some type of searchable content, which then trickled into their more social platforms. And then from there, they had a very clear-cut way for people to be able to purchase from them, no matter what their needs were. It seemed to work like clockwork, and it was so fast compared to the typical nurturing sequence that I was taught about when I was first starting as a business coach. And as I started to use those 3 pillars in my own business and for my clients, I realized that you don't need anything super fancy. You don't need to learn new softwares. You don't need to be on every single platform known to man. You really just need to master 2 or 3 really solid platforms, one that's highly searchable and one that is very nurturing. Make sure that you have content on both that demonstrate your authority and your magic and your vibe. And then make sure you just have a really clear set of steps for people to be able to purchase from you. Now, I can understand how that can feel overwhelming because, there's just so many different strategies, there's so many different platforms. You're still not sure where exactly you fit with your business. If you go to the link in my description below, that will list all of my coaching services, because this is literally all I do for my clients, is I help them navigate how to make systems, both lead generation and other biz operations, that allow them to very seamlessly be able to get consistent leads, get consistent sales, have incredible feedback without them having to work 24/7 in their business. They can take a step back, their business has autonomy, and it's able to work and grow and scale on its own without you having to be the main factor pulling all the strings. And that way you don't feel overworked, you don't feel overwhelmed, and you're able to actually, be the happy, amazing, high vibe person that you are, which, by the way, is going to naturally attract more people to you anyway. When you spend less time on your business, you attract more people to you because you naturally are going to have that vibe about you. So if that's where you're at, if you're feeling stuck, please feel free to check out my coaching services below. Otherwise, thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Please share this with a friend or a business owner who you know could benefit from this. Let me know any questions that you have in the comments below, and I will see you next time.